recorded live.
This is your humble host, Monster Mike. We are in the DeZert Tower Studios. We welcome your participation in this March 19th, 2018 Fox Sports radio affiliate, Off-Road Live. The genuine, original Off-Road Live. We have a very special guest on the line, Igor Kay of Baja Sun Films. And, of course, we're talking about the Legends of Baja project as well as some other matters. So what is your ultimate goal with Legends of Baja?
Well, where we're at right now is the short film is complete, and like I said, it's doing the festival rounds, and we're getting very, very good responses from it. We're trying to raise funds to transfer all that other footage that's sitting in the vault and kind of cut a big documentary, full feature documentary out of it. And in the film, we're going to focus a little bit, specifically on the friendship, the rivalry between McQueen and Garner that existed during those years. I know many people know that they raced in the Baja races, but I don't think they know the full story of how much all that, how that began, how it even came about, and how it affected their lives all the way from 1962 through.
Yes, I agree. I don't think that story is known, Igor.
No. I mean, I'll tell you real fast. Here's what happened. The way they originally met is McQueen and Garner met on the set of The Great Escape, which that movie was huge. It was worldwide, and notably, McQueen did a lot of his own stunt driving in the film, riding motorcycles. He even doubled by playing some of the Germans, just, riding these motorcycles. He's sometimes falsely credited for doing the big jump at the end of the film, 60-foot high jump over the fence. He, in fact, did not make that jump, but Eakins actually did that jump. And McQueen and Eakins were already racing motorcycles in Europe and in America. And so in 1962, they're both working on this film. They both started in television playing in cowboy serials. Garner was most famous for a show called Maverick back in the 50s. And McQueen started on playing a cowboy show called Dead or Alive. So in 1962, they meet up, they strike up a beautiful friendship. They both have these racing, although Garner was more of a four-wheel guy. McQueen, he raced everything, man. Anything on two wheels, four wheels, as long as it was fast, he was into it. So fast forward 4 years later, 1965, they're both auditioning for the lead role in another movie which eventually became the giant blockbuster film called Grand Prix. And McQueen was very, very interested in playing the race car driver part in that film because it would have allowed him some drive time on actual tracks in Europe of Le Mans and other tracks, and to do some of his own driving right next to the professional, race car drivers of the era. And he was really, really interested in that part. Well, long story short, he doesn't get the part. James Garner gets the part. It propels him into superstardom. And, of course, he got to do all his own driving. And McQueen was so jealous of that. That's really where friendship turned into rivalry. So he vowed to make his own racing film. It took him the next, 4 or 5 years to finally do the film, which became Le Mans. And in the end, I think we know this story, the studio did not allow him to drive in the film at all. And they pulled the funding, they changed directors. That movie was, it took a lot out of McQueen's life. During the next few years, he was just hell-bent on doing this film, making it real, embedding yourself in the driving seat and with the drivers and everything. And there was all kinds of innovations that they did, how they filmed it, how they raced the cars. But the film ran into financial problems. It almost bankrupted McQueen. I believe it caused a divorce in his life. And he was just never able to recapture that racing glory on film, which he felt should have been his in 1966. Yeah. Garner, in the meanwhile, he comes off as a huge star after Grand Prix is released, and it's so successful. He then starts his own racing team. He had a couple of partners. They originally got some specially built Corvettes from GM, and they were racing those, and they were racing off-road. So in '68, Garner does his own racing film called The Racing Scene, which basically chronicled that year of his racing team schedules, which included the Baja 500. And I believe that's the footage that you're probably most familiar with when you see anything of James Garner, and it looks like either a Rambler or he's in a kind of a Bronco or a Jeep-looking thing. That's the footage from his own film, which came out in 1968. And then, of course, there's the famous Manx that James Garner and Scooter Patrick drove in the early Stardust races. And believe it or not, a big part of what I've been doing with this project is hunting down some of these cars and their new owners, and each one of them has a story. All three of the Garner cars have just incredible stories, including, parts of it were found in junkyards. Somebody, put an eBay ad for some old, crashed up race car. It ended up being the Grabber, and so on and so forth. We tracked down the new owners of the Scooter Patrick Garner Manx. That was the first time, actually, that car has been seen completely restored at the 2015 Mexican 1000 Rally, and Bruce Myers came out to that year as well. Well, he comes every year, but that year it was the first time that he'd seen that car in, 30, 40, 50 years. And we have some wonderful footage of him kind of walking around, looking at it, and making sure this is the original one, and he certified it. That was the first time we met Bruce. And what a wonderful man. We started talking about him, 92 years old, and still so full of life. He's on his third book. He still draws. He was showing us the sketches at his place that he's done, these beautiful black and white body studies, not car bodies, but human bodies. And, of course, he always tells the story of how the dune buggy shape came out of him studying nudes and the lines of a woman's curves.
And you're going to include this in the Legends of Baja.
Yes.
That's
where
wonderful.
We're at is, so phase one's complete. We got the short film down, and we're out there. Phase two is to get enough funding to transfer all of the original footage and build a documentary about it, really kind of focusing on McQueen and Garner's relationship, along with all the other drivers and just the beginnings, and kind of wrapped in that whole exotic location of Baja. And then phase three, which is kind of what I'm developing now, is to do a little 6-part mini-series and include not just the history of Baja, but really delve into the microculture of the people and the 3 generations of these racers and these crazy people with dust in their veins and speed in their heart, and the search for adventure and what they go through. I mean, everybody from the Bryce Menzies and the Rob McCachran all the way down to just, the homemade dad and his son in their garage coupling together a little buggy and taking it out there. In the miniseries, we'll really be able to focus on just the culture, this off-road racing culture that exists and is getting stronger and bigger every year.
Right. The lifestyle that we all enjoy right here on Off-Road Live. Igor Kay of Baja Sun Films and the wonderful project Legends of Baja has been our special guest today on Off-Road Live. I'd like to extend an invitation to you, Igor, to come on next week, and we'll talk all about the 92nd birthday party for Bruce Myers that we attended on Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wonderful. Let's do that. But before we wrap up the show today, I'd like to also extend to you the offer to reach out to the interwebs around the world. Anyone listening to the message and hearing this wonderful, wonderful project and story from Igor Kay of Baja Sun Films, how can someone get a hold of you and participate in this wonderful vision?
Well, I welcome everybody to visit our website, which is www.bajasunfilms.com. And on there, you will see a feed of our Facebook page, which is the same name, Facebook/Baja Sun Films. And, of course, you can always visit our YouTube channel at Baja Sun Films and tell us your stories. Maybe somebody out there has some old pictures. Maybe somebody does have another shot that, that's never been published online of McQueen or Garner or the Baja Booth or any of the old-timers, or, their own personal stories.
Well, Igor, it's been an absolute privilege to have you on our show today. I'm getting notes from emails that are being sent to us and some texts that Igor, you have been the most entertaining guest that we've had in the history of Off-Road Live. The input that we've received is not only of interest of the past, but also your vision of the future, which people want to participate in.
Well, thank you so much. And if I may, I can give you out a direct email link. All of our media contacts and support is being handled by my co-producer, Jane Linter. And you can reach her and us at bajasunfilms.media@gmail.com.
One more time.
bajasunfilms.media@gmail.com. My wonderful co-producer, Jane Linter, will be happy to send anybody who is interested our press kits, so please visit us there.
We absolutely will. And Igor, we'll have you on again next week, Monday, 4 West, 7 East, and we'll talk all about Bruce Meyer's 92nd birthday party at his residence and ranch. And we can't wait to hear and see some of the media that you'll be producing over the next week or so that we can display this wonderful lifestyle, in particular the beach style that Bruce represents here in Southern California and, of course, Baja California. Again, Igor, thank you so much for your work, your inclusion in our show today, and we look forward to working with you in the future, and in particular next week's show.
Same here. I look forward to it. Oh, Bruce is such a wonderful guy, his wife and all the guests of his birthday party. It was such a great time. We have a lot to talk about there, including, shall I tease?
Please.
There was an inaugural vintage bottling of wine that's now called Old Red Wine, named after his original Myers Minx, that was unveiled at his birthday party, and we shall have a virtual sampling of that on the air next Monday.
Awesome. Well, Igor Kay of Baja Sun Films, thanks again. We look forward to having you on next week. Thanks so much for being on, and we'll see you then.
All right. Take care, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks very much for tuning in, folks. See you then. Off-Road Live is a Fox Sports radio affiliate.